Daphne Keene is returning as X-23 Laura in Deadpool and Wolverine. We saw the trailer where she showed up. Why couldn't we wait until the movie dropped to see X-23?
Wasn't she? Didn't somebody deny being in the movie?
She did, but then Marvel screws it up by putting her in the damn trailer. We were going to see the movie either way. We didn't need that, you know. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
Good morning.
Also known as Fun with Mike and Adrian, a.k.a., right?
That's it.
How we doing today, bro?
Jet lag.
Okay. You've been traveling around.
Yeah, it's going to be some resting today, definitely. Okay.
I've been traveling a little bit, too, this week, so yeah, I get you, dude. But here we are, because you know what? We're not going to let our viewers down, though.
Definitely not.
We'll push through.
That's right.
We have a big week, too, dude. We're finally here, Adrian.
Right, finally.
Dude, I feel like we've been talking about this movie for like 4 years, bro.
Yeah, it does feel like a long time, right?
And it was about, I guess, a little over a year when it was kind of first announced, or when we first saw some, behind-the-scenes photos, but Deadpool and Wolverine is upon us. It's next Thursday. So I'll be checking this thing out on Thursday.
Well, the other thing that makes this exciting too is that we've kind of had some shit in the last movies out last year. So it's kind of like that I need to see something that's cool and exciting, you know. And
based on what we've seen so far, we're gonna get into the final, hopefully the final trailer, right? It seems like it's going to deliver.
Okay.
Right? Would you say, is there anything you've seen in these trailers where you're like, oh man, this is going to be a shit show?
No, as a matter of fact, I don't even get that feeling like I've seen the whole movie.
Right.
That which sometimes you see. You got like a 2-minute trailer and it's like all the, action parts. It's like, dude, I don't even need to go to the movies anymore.
Right. I think, you've said this before, that you have a feeling that they're listening to us. Right. Like you guys, in your gut, something like, there's no proof, but there's just something, you got a feeling, right?
Right.
Now, we have said in the past, a long time ago, that we wished that they would stop showing the whole movie in the trailer, right? Remember talking about that here?
I remember that, yep.
And we see this trailer. I'm just saying, Adrian, it sounds like we're influencing the bigwigs.
I think so.
And still, I don't even see a cup over there. You still don't have coffee?
Still don't have coffee. I just gave up.
It's unbelievable. So anyways, moving on, some comic news and rumors. Adrian, we're going to break down what's going on in the comic world over the past week or so. So the first thing is, we mentioned the final trailer. Daphne Keene is returning as X-23 Laura in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's not the news, though, because that already broke. I got the piece of news here is she may actually be wearing a Wolverine costume in the movie. Okay. So you've seen her in the comics in a kind of Wolverine-esque suit. And there was a storyline, The Death of Wolverine. I don't know if you ever read this. It was more recent, within the last 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
And after Wolverine died in the comics, Laura took over as Wolverine. She wore the blue and yellow costume. She was, full-time X-Men or whatnot. And the reason why this is a rumor, now, we saw the trailer where she showed up. I have my feelings about that because just like I'm giving them credit for not giving away the whole movie, why couldn't we wait until the movie dropped to see X-23?
Wasn't she... Didn't somebody deny being in the movie?
She did.
Right. So, whatever. There we go again.
She pulled the Andrew Garfield, from No Way Home. He's up until the day it dropped. He's like, I'm not in the movie. Nope, they never talked to me. And there was all kinds of rumors. She did the same thing.
Right.
Matter of fact, she even said in an interview that she was influenced by Andrew Garfield as to how to handle this whole,
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Just lie.
And then, but then Marvel screws it up. By
Whatever.
putting her in the damn trailer. But anyways, but the more important thing is the suit, the costume, because that's a big deal with Hugh Jackman in this, finally in the costume, right?
Okay.
So they asked her about it, and to sum it up, she said, first talked about getting back in the role, that there wasn't a lot of looking for her to try to find it. She was just in me. The first thing I did for Deadpool was stunt training before I shot anything. But here's the part. She says, I put on the costume and was like, oh, she's back. Costume. So that could be her on-set, just attire, right? Or it could be her Wolverine costume. Who knows?
So there is no Wolverine costume. And I say that in the vein that it sounds like there are many Wolverine costumes.
Sure.
But there's like the OG costume, right? The traditional, blue and yellow.
Yep.
Now, there are X-Men costumes.
Right.
But she's talking about specifically the Wolverine. So I'm assuming that she's talking about the yellow one, right?
Well, that's what we don't know. So that's our internet speculation, if you will. She just said the word costume.
Okay.
But so, I mean, I guess it all depends on if she is wearing, to your point, an X-Men costume. Is she referring to that? Or is she just referring to, whatever shirt and pants they have her in as the costume? Who knows?
So this is we talk about only comics and maybe other things.
Yes.
So we're down to apparel now.
Oh, yeah. We're starting right there, Adrian. So I guess based off this statement, you don't know either way. I think it would be cool to see her in the blue and yellow at some point. It's like, dude, if we're going to do this kind of last hurrah, I mean, there's rumors of Hugh Jackman showing up in the Avengers movies, but this is getting to the end of this.
Right.
Might as well go out with a bang, dude.
Hey, whatever.
She posted a picture of Laura in the comic, or from the comics, in the blue and yellow. And the quote was, "I want them to see the Wolverine coming," alluding to like her taking over as Wolverine.
Right.
And then she just says, "Let's fucking go, Deadpool movie." Okay. Now, another rumor out there is after these next couple movies with Hugh Jackman, they're going to retire that Wolverine character, and then Daphne Keene would take over as that version of Wolverine in the MCU, the X-23 variant.
Okay.
That's not. I'd be cool.
I'm good with that.
Because I'm curious to see how she does as an adult. How because it's been like 10 years almost.
Right.
But she killed it as the young Laura.
Right.
So I gotta imagine she's probably gonna nail it in this one too.
Right. I mean, I'm okay with that in the vein that I don't have a choice. I mean, I can't even get coffee in here, so I can't convince somebody to give me coffee. I definitely can't convince. But we also know that our ideas aren't good ideas until there's somebody else's ideas, right? So they just sneak our suggestions and make it their own.
Absolutely.
And don't give us credit for it. But that's okay.
At least give us a shout out, like we got this from Mike and Adrian. Just that. Just that. Or if Kevin Feige wants to come on the podcast,
or that,
you do that too. But I'd be cool with this. I'd love to see the blue and yellow. And because there's that, when we're going to get into this a little bit later about the, what do you do after this? Do you recast Wolverine or is Hugh Jackman just the only one that can play him? People got their feelings. But I would be okay with this for the interim. I don't know that we need to recast Wolverine right away.
Right.
So if they want to have Laura play Wolverine for, 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Next up, a rumor. We've talked a lot about Kang, Kang Dynasty, Jonathan Majors. Rumor right now is that Kang will be recasted in the MCU. Okay. So that I just wanted to point that out because I did predict that, Adrian. Sure. We talked about all the options. We talked about what we wanted. We wanted them to just bring Kang back. But my prediction was Marvel was going to be Marvel and just recast.
Right.
Sounds like that's happening. So next up, Kevin Feige confirms that the new Blade movie, I think you're going to like this, will have an R rating in the MCU too, because that was up in the air.
And it should.
Right.
I mean, first of all, it's a vampire movie, and all the movies I think with Wesley Snipes were R-rated.
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, come on.
And that's kind of what he said. He was like, "It's most important for us is to not rush this and make sure that we're making it right." So that's good. And he said there were some great Blade movies years ago, and they all were R-rated. So I think that's inherent. Like Deadpool inherent with that character Blade. So Kevin Feige seems to me he's on it again. I think he got off a little bit.
Right.
Everyone can't be great every day.
I mean, you listen to us enough. I mean, you'll get back on point.
You will get back on track.
Is it going to be with that actor Marshala or whatever?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Which I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think he'll do a great job with it. So it's Comic-Con season, Adrian. There's the big Comic Con is the one in San Diego. That's where Marvel for a long time they rented out Hall H and that's where they made their big announcements, right? So I think they did not attend Comic Con last year. Okay. Hence, the lack of movies coming out. Like
right.
Yeah, I know we say this every week, but it's almost August. And this will be the first time this year we'll go watch an MCU movie in the theater. We're not used to that, It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
But going back to his statement about Blade, I'd rather them take their time and make good movies.
Absolutely.
So, but there's news that, number one, this broke a few weeks ago that Marvel was going to attend Hall H again, but now they've confirmed a second appearance. So typically Saturday, Hall H, that's where they make all their big announcements. Thursday is the day Deadpool Wolverine drops. They're also going to be at Hall H that day doing some big Wolverine Deadpool presentation type deal. So that would be cool. And the really why I'm intrigued about this is what are they going to announce? Because there's all these things are up in the air. What's going on with the X-Men, the mutants? What's going on with Kang? I gotta imagine one of these big announcements will take place this weekend.
Right. When is this?
This week starts Wednesday the 24th, runs through Sunday the 28th.
Oh, I was going to say road trip, but
right? I know.
too late for all that.
But there is, you mentioned road trip to the Comic-Con. There's a Comic-Con right here in our home state. Terrificon. This is in a few weeks, so August 16th through 18th. Okay. So I'm going to be rolling around Comic-Con, Adrian. All right. You going to join me?
All right. Let's do it. Where is it, though?
Mohegan Sun.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so Mohegan Sun right here in Connecticut. So if any of y'all are in New England or any of y'all are going to head down to Mohegan Sun, man, check us out. I got some fun stuff planned, dude. We're going to do some live agree to disagree with the fans. Okay. We're going to do some trivia, okay? And we're going to give out some merch. Okay. So come check us out at Comic-Con or Terrificon if you're in the area.
So just a suggestion for Mohegan Sun.
Yes.
Fans.
Yeah.
Not comic book fans, but like fans that move air.
Yes.
Because it's a little tight in there.
It is.
I'm just saying.
It's a little stuffy. So make sure, hey, if you're coming for us, make sure you guys, someday, just saying, there's a whole nother small part of the comic fans that choose not to use deodorant and things like that. But anyway, so Hall H. So I'm looking forward to that. Check out some, Comic-Con videos this week. But I wanted to just kind of go through some of the most memorable Hall H moments, just to kind of get an idea of what we could possibly find out, right? So before it was even called Hall H, in 2006, John Favreau and Kevin Feige presented the first look at the Iron Man movie. So it was the first time we've seen any footage, anything from that. So that was kind of big. 2010, Avengers, the full cast of the Avengers movie appeared on stage together for the first time. So that was, really the beginning of this MCU. 2017 was when Marvel unveiled the first footage of Infinity War at Hall H, which just left people in awe because it was the biggest thing we've seen at that time, right? 2015, Ryan Reynolds made an appearance and showcased the full trailer for Deadpool. So that, the Deadpool's first trailer debuted at Hall H.
The bridge?
Yes. Okay. I think most of the trailer was that scene.
Okay.
And then in 2016, this is when Hugh Jackman announced that Logan was going to be his last time, spitting the claws out. They teased some footage. They talked about the tone being darker and aligning with the old man Logan storyline. So we got a hype for Logan. And then that same year, they introduced Daphne Keene as Laura X-23, gave fans a little glimpse of her. So some pretty big, moments have happened at Hall H. I mean, dude, of all the things that are, up in the air now, if I had to pick, I'd love to hear some X-Men news, and I'd love to hear what's going on with this Kang Dynasty thing.
Right.
Know?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, but I mean, I also like to hear some new developments too. I mean,
true, yeah.
All this stuff is, it's cool, but that's in process or in progress. But what about Fantastic Four? What about these, these other groups? The X-Men, as a MCU group, and then what about the other spinoffs?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot. Alpha Flight. It's just a lot.
There's so much. I didn't even think about that. Fantastic Four. It's about a year out. We could see some footage or something from that here. Like those are the types of things at level. So I would definitely be cool with that. Maybe they'll give us some answers on the directors. So moving on to the next piece of news. Here's another point, Adrian, that I go, they're listening, they're watching. Okay. The Russo brothers, they directed, Winter Soldier, I think is where they started. They did Civil War. They did Infinity War, Endgame. It's really a line of probably, if you were ranking the MCU movies, those are going to be in your top 5 or 10, no matter who you are, right? So some of the best MCU movies. There's been talks about Marvel bringing them back, and then we reported a few weeks ago that Kevin Feige said no, right? So new piece of news this week is that the Russo brothers are in talks again to direct Avengers 5 and Secret Wars, and also to oversee all of the future MCU projects in this phase. So not necessarily direct them, but maybe be there as like just some kind of guide to make sure.
Some influence.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I like that. I like that idea.
You like the idea, or you like the fact that they're listening to us?
Well, I know they're listening to it. I don't need validation or verification of that. It's just I know they're doing that, but definitely them being involved, because the Russo brothers at any level, they're about vision, and you have in directors, even sometimes they need vision.
Yeah,
they're the director's job is to make sure, just like any other manager, is to make sure that the vision is executed. And if the Russo brothers are involved, even not from a director's point of view, they are going to be steering the ship. So that's exciting, I think.
Yeah, almost like an executive producer or something, where they kind of have the final say, but they're going to let you kind of cook, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely be all for that. And they, you know, I found some clips from an interview a couple of years ago. This was 2022. Joe Russo. This is when someone was asking him about, like, you know, are you guys coming back? Have you been talking to Marvel? And at that point, he said, we haven't had any conversations, you know, but both sides have been busy. And they asked him, like, you know, truthfully, like, would you work for them again? He's like, of course, we adore them. Next question was, what would you like to do? And his answer was, Secret Wars was our favorite series growing up, and I always thought it could get turned into a bigger story. So basically, Secret Wars, one of their all-time favorite stories. I mean, it seems like a perfect,
right,
dude. Don't screw this up. Bring them back in,
right?
Let them. And I think part of it was like Marvel probably wanted to move on and go, you know, let's show you that we can do this with other directors. It's that kind of that whole, like, you know, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, right? Like, do you need both of them, or can they succeed without each other?
Right.
I think that's what, and we realized that it's a lot harder to succeed without them.
Right. Absolutely.
So, I would love to see them come back. And just hearing that, like, I think that's partly why they were such great directors, is they're comic book fans. A lot of times what happens is they get a good director that's not a comic book guy, and then he takes comic book material, and to a lot of us, he screws it up. They change things that, like, as a fan, we know you shouldn't change.
Right. They spend so much time trying to put their own brand on a character instead of making a good movie. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yep, good deal there. Next, Marvel. A lot of Marvel this week, dude. DC, where you at? You heard anything about them lately?
Crickets.
Wish we had the cricket sound effect.
Right.
Now, we talk about Hall H. One of the things that they are rumored to be announcing, Marvel's rumored to be announcing Avengers versus X-Men at Comic-Con. So another thing we've talked about here,
right?
We've even alluded to. We even gave them an idea how to do it. You can take the Fox X-Men from one universe, mix them up, have them all fight.
Sure.
They're already established. We don't need to establish their background. So
no more origins.
Yeah, no more origins. And then, you know, if we have to deal with Halle Berry for a little bit.
Come on, man.
But anyways, I'm liking this. That I hope they, you know, to big level things, or to your point of things that are new, we haven't done yet. I'd love to hear them announce this. Batman, the Caped Crusader. It's the animated series, the new one with your favorite version of Harley Quinn. Dropping August 1st, dude. Yeah,
I've seen, actually, I mean, we've talked about it in the past, and I've seen, like, the little, thumbnail. They only show just Batman, you know, dropping August 1st or whatever on Showtime or
Max, I think.
Max or whatever it is.
Or, no, Prime. We're all wrong.
Prime?
Yep.
So I've only seen the thumbnail, so I just haven't dug into it. I know it's coming, and I'll watch it whenever it shows.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's Batman, dude. We're gonna watch it. You don't even have to sell me. You don't have to do all this marketing. Just tell me when it comes out. I'll be there.
I'm sure I'll cringe at some artistic rendition of a character, but we'll see. Of course.
Now, I did read. I guess, you know, maybe DC's also watching because they felt the need to explain why Harley Quinn looks like that. This is a different version, obviously, that takes place in the 40s, and they wanted to kind of make her more sadistic and make Harleen Quinzel the fun one and Harley Quinn the psychotic one. So kind of reverse of her old personality. And the new version, new variant. You don't seem happy.
Nah, dude. Why mix it up? Why mess it up? Why confuse people?
Yeah.
You know, there's only one Harley Quinn, whether you call it Harley Quinn or Harley Quinzel or whatever. You know, just leave her alone. I think what they did was, who are the two women? They're like the same level, but one for Britain and one for America.
In DC or Marvel?
DC. They're like who's the lady that the black chick?
Oh, Amanda
Waller. And then you have the British version that came out in that horrible limited series with Sam Jackson.
Oh yeah. I can't remember. I know you're talking about that Secret Invasion.
Yeah, that talk with maximum power chick at the very end. Her. So it's like they always almost trying to make another variant of those two. and I'm not sure that that's going to be received very well.
Yeah, we will find out in about a week. So. But I guess like you said before, DC, just do something. Right. So I'm glad we're getting something, DC. People that way, no one will confuse us with our Marvel bias that we allegedly have.
Yeah.
Next up, Robert Downey Jr. rumored to return as a Tony Stark variant that becomes Doctor Doom. I was with you in the first half, and then you lost me in the second.
Come on, man. What are they doing, dude?
Right.
I mean, you have so many characters that you can do things with. I think it's almost like they're intentionally trying to confuse.
Yes.
Why is Tony Stark coming back as anybody other than Tony Stark?
Right.
Right. Why are they mixing it up with Doom? Just make why don't you perfect Doom on his own?
Yeah, let's do that first, right? I think that's my biggest thing with this. Like, it'd be one thing if they already had Doom that been knocked out of the park for years, and we're just going to try. But y'all haven't got Doom right yet. Let's do that first before we go take. And you're going to take a Robert Downey Jr. return and waste it on a new variant of a character. Like, if we see Robert Downey Jr. come back, he needs to be motherfucking Iron Man.
Right.
There's nothing else.
Right.
I don't want to see him as Batman. I don't want to see him as I don't want to see him as like an old Spider-Man. No. Right. I don't want him Nick Caging out there.
Right.
No. So yeah, I hope this is just a stupid ass rumor.
Right.
But I did find a fun fact though. Robert Downey Jr. auditioned for Doom in the original Fox Fantastic Four movie and didn't get the part.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
Right. Because he knocked Tony Stark Iron Man out the park.
Right.
So that was probably one of those along the same time frame. He was interviewing and they didn't even want to pick him up as Tony Stark.
Oh yeah.
Because he was a severe liability.
Absolutely.
So. Anyway, good for us.
Yeah, seriously. So let's perfect Doom, and before we do anything like that. And I mean, Robert Downey Jr. returning at all, I'm kind of on the other side of it now. Like at first, when I first heard, I'm like, dude, really?
Right.
But honestly, they've not done a damn thing really good outside of like Spider-Man in the past. I don't know how long. So at this point, screw it, fuck it, bring it back.
Again, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see and critique.
Sure.
As we do.
We definitely will. But you were opposed to that in the beginning, right?
What?
Having Robert Downey Jr. come back?
Yeah, I mean, once you finalize something, don't be creative. I mean, they're just taking this whole multiverse thing to a whole different level.
Right.
We understand that there are multiple universes and there are variants of each person in that multiverse. But to make them cross over into something that has nothing to do with them. So Tony Stark into a Victor Von Doom, that just doesn't. That's nonsensical to me. Right. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Just do stuff with the characters that you got because they aren't fully developed on the full screen.
Correct.
On the big screen. I mean.
But now I guess seeing we're a few days away from seeing Hugh Jackman back, and we kind of see where this is going. I think I feel more okay with if Robert Downey Jr. did return in Secret Wars as an Iron Man variant. I'd be able to accept that more now. Still on the fence.
I don't care at this point, only because there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to get upset about it, right? But if he does come as a Tony Stark variant, that's fine. That's fine. I
don't want to see the Tony Stark that we saw sacrifice himself resurrected. I don't want to see that. I'd rather just be a variant.
Yeah, but would he be a variant on this Earth or
no? Like just, another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
What's the point? just what's the point? Make his daughter the new Iron Man, just like they're making X-22 the new Wolverine, and let's just keep moving along.
Yeah. Last piece of news, Adrian. Have you seen the new Deadpool popcorn bucket?
I have.
Now I know you're not going to buy the Wolverine one. We've established that, right? You got to change your stance.
Well, I'm not going to buy any of them.
Okay,
so there's that.
That's my next question. You don't want to get the little baby Deadpool.
No. It'll end up in the trash anyway at some point. So what's the point?
Now, if you had to, say which one looks better, would you say the Deadpool one or the Wolverine one?
The Deadpool one.
Yeah, the little baby Deadpool on it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Bucket has so I don't know if we're gonna see a baby Deadpool in this movie. Is that what they're getting at?
I don't know. There's a dog Deadpool. There's a dog pool or whatever. So who knows,
dude? And now to kind of wrap this up, let's go back to that trailer a little bit. I've not dug a bunch into Deadpool comics, so I don't know about all these variants, the Lady Deadpool, the Dog Pool. But there was a couple of things. One, and this not to beat a dead horse, but they're definitely listening because we talked about the Wolverine death last week. What did you see in this trailer, Adrian? What did we see footage of?
The Wolverine death.
Wonder where they got that idea from.
I don't know.
Because this trailer came out after last week's show.
Right.
So they're like, oh, everyone loves that moment. Yo, put that in the trailer.
Let's splice this into it.
Yeah. So anyways.
Whatever.
But it was good use of that. And then, of course, we see Laura, which, whatever. The toothpaste out of the tube now. Who cares? But but it's kind of like, it's just, we were going to see the movie either way. We didn't need that, you know. But we saw Lady Deadpool in this. Yep. So there's a debate right now online going where half the people think that is Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife. The other half the people think that's Taylor Swift. I'm going to go with the first one.
Okay, so the actress playing the Lady Deadpool, I don't care, but it's more likely the first one.
Yeah.
It's probably most likely not Taylor Swift.
Right.
But it would be cool if in the comics, Lady Deadpool was his comic wife.
Okay.
Laurel, Bacher, or whatever her name is.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're going to waste a Taylor. If they got a Taylor Swift cameo, we've seen what she did for the NFL, right?
Right.
You're not going to waste that on a masked character.
Right.
Be kind of strange. And, we obviously know the only character Taylor Swift should play in any comic movie is Dazzler.
Well, and Ivy.
Oh, yeah.
On the DC side.
I don't know if Taylor can get all sadistic with it, though. I'm not a Swiftie. I wouldn't know. So
I don't know.
Maybe. Possibly.
It's possible.
Well, there you have it. That is the news and rumors for this week. We're going to wrap this up with a little thumbs up, thumbs down like we always do. All right, starting with number one, Daphne Keene returning as X-23 or Laura in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, and she hints at wearing some type of costume. So I'm going to give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Rumor is that Kang will be recasted in the MCU. I'm going to give this as many thumbs down as I can possibly give it because Jonathan Majors should return.
Right. Well, if they're gonna do the whole Kang thing, recasting, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
Because they're moving the thing forward. It costs a lot for them to reorganize and redo all this crap. So whatever. Thumbs up.
Okay, so you're saying because if this is just showing you that they're gonna move forward with that story and not just drop it. Okay, correct. I got you. Kevin Feige confirms Blade will have an R-rated in the MCU as well. I'm giving that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Next up, the Russo brothers are rumored to be in talks with Marvel to direct Avengers 4 and 5 and maybe oversee other MCU projects. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Marvel added a second appearance to Comic-Con in San Diego this week. So at Hall H, they'll be there on Thursday and Saturday. I'm giving it a thumbs up because it means we're going to get some news. We're going to get something.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Marvel rumored to be announcing, speaking of, Avengers vs. X-Men at Comic-Con. If that gets announced, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Is there going to be, what is that, live action?
Yeah.
Anime? Oh, live action. Nice.
Yeah. So I was assuming this would be like or maybe during Secret Wars, because that's a perfect spot to have a fight like that where it's not going to impact, because the odds that the X-Men and the Avengers are just going to show up at some, big city and start killing each other and innocent people, probably not going to happen.
Right. True.
But in Battle World and Secret Wars, perfect platform for it.
Sure.
Caped Crusader, Batman, Caped Crusader dropping August 1st. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I'm apprehensive because of what's going to be in it, but that's thumbs up. That is dropping.
Yep. Robert Downey Jr. rumored to return as Tony Stark as a Tony Stark variant that becomes Doctor Doom. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Hope that does not happen.
Yeah.
And new Deadpool bucket being released next week. I'm just in the spirit of the Deadpool Wolverine. I'll give that a thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah. I'm still gonna get the Wolverine one though. Of
course.
So you're gonna be looking at it right there, Adrian, next week. Unless it's sold out by the time I get there. Or like you said, maybe it's banned in Connecticut.
Right.
All right. Moving on. If you like that segment, hit the like button right now. Drop us a follow. If you've not already, subscribe. Turn a little bell on so you get notifications. And let us know. Do you like this news? What's going on? Or let us know if you understand how much Marvel and DC are watching only comics.
Right.
You know, that's really the bigger thing at hand here. So, my man A. Josh Strickland on TikTok says, have you guys done a hit or miss for TV shows? So he has some suggestions here. And I look back, I think most of our hit or miss has been movies.
Right.
So I got a few from some TV shows here, and then I got a random one. So my man A. Josh Strickland helped out with this. And that's how, like, easygoing we are, Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
We may just pick a follower's comment and use their information on the show. So,
that's it.
You know, if you got a suggestion for hit or miss, have at it. We don't have a lot of rules here on Only Comics.
Yep.
But their one rule is we discuss comics and only comics.
Well, there's 2 rules. we show up every week.
There's that.
That's rule number 1. And then we discuss, well, not only comics, sometimes something, you know, a little side street that we go down.
So are you alluding to the fact that the only rule we have is we show up every week?
That's really the only rule,
Okay.
dude.
All right, you know, you guys let us know if there's any other rules you think we have here. But speaking of hit or miss, you ready for hit or miss? Are you ready?
Let's do it.
This is turning into TikTok's loving this segment, dude.
Yeah?
This is where we just throw out some random comic book castings from past movies and now shows. Mm-hmm. And Adrian tells me if it's a hit or miss.
Yep.
And I told you guys this before. You can't say he's wrong because it's his own motherfucking opinion. Right? You can't be wrong about your own opinion. I could disagree.
Yes.
And that we have agreed to disagree for that later on.
Yes,
so
we do.
Stay tuned. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, this is from my man, A. Josh Strickland. Vinny D as Wilson Fisk, Kingpin.
Hit.
Dude, that's like a hit out of that's
Right.
a grand slam.
Yep.
John Bernthal as Punisher. That's the one from the Netflix series.
Oh, the guy that was in Walking Dead?
Yes.
Oh, that's a hit.
Yep,
That's a
absolutely. Mike Coulter as Luke Cage.
Hit.
Yes. Ben Affleck as Daredevil / Matt Murdock.
I say a hit. I thought that was pretty cool.
I think he did pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the movie is the movie.
Right,
you
right.
know,
Considering when it came out,
Yes.
and you know they're like testing the waters. I think,
Dude, that was like early 2000s. I remember being
Right.
in high school seeing that. It's like, holy shit. Last but not least, Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, Barbara Gordon.
Oh my god, you had to have a miss in there
had
somewhere.
to.
So yeah, no, a miss, dude.
These were so good. I had a guaranteed miss in there.
Right,
so,
right.
but you guys let us know. Dude, I'll tell you what. We've been doing this for a while now. I can guarantee you, there's people watching this that are gonna say, Alicia Silverstone's the best Batgirl. Like they're gonna,
Whatever.
and so I can't wait to find
Right.
those people. Next up, Adrian, you got another fun segment here called Hidden Gem,
Yep.
where you break down a hidden gem. What's a hidden gem? It's a comic book character, entity. It's another thing where we don't have a lot of rules.
Right.
I mean, essentially, we should rename this to Adrian's Learning Tree.
We could, but hidden gem sounds good.
But I guess it's kind of like an AKA, right?
Yep.
Adrian's Learning Tree is a better title for this.
Okay.
Because sometimes it may be someone that's not so hidden,
Right.
but you're going to bring out a side of it, some information that most of us did not know.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn it over to you. Who or what is the hidden gem this week?
All right. So this week, I got some paperwork because this is a little complicated.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things that attracted me to comics was, the technology and the intellects, right? So Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Victor Von Doom, and then you have all the tech surrounding them. But then you got this whole spectrum of beings, right? So you got like gods, demigods we call them, that middle tier gods. So we got like the Thors and Hercules and people like that. Then you got these celestial beings like Galactus and things like that. And then you got this whole level of another group of beings, and that's what the hidden gem is this week. These are cosmic entities.
Okay.
We're talking about so when you think about let's say an atom in the human body, right? And then the millions and billions of atoms that make up or inside a human body, right? So then you think about the human body as being an atom inside of another human. So you can like deep dive on all of this stuff,
Right.
But then you got people. So you got the depth with the atom inside the human body that's inside of the atom inside of another body. But then you got to think about the number of humans there are or entities that there are, right? So you got depth and width.
Gotcha.
So when you start thinking like that, and these entities that I'm going to mention is the reason that I think like that, you pretty much there's nothing that will surprise you,
Yeah.
right? So there's no such thing as magic. It's all nanites and technology at a subatomic level and all these different kinds of things. You got the multiverses, you got different variants, things like that. So, but these beings are those people that are on such a scale. It's like you don't even think about what is possible. You don't think about, a power set. So what's the power set of somebody like Galactus? Well, you don't worry about, what the power set is of somebody like Galactus because it's pretty much anything, right? So this week's Hidden Gems are a collection of Marvel, and I'm going to go across Marvel and DC, right? I'm going to do a little comparison. So these are a collection. I'm mixing it up a little bit. Okay. Man. So these are cosmic beings. I'm going to put them in this category of cosmic beings, right? So, and the reason that I came up with this is I watched part 2 of Crisis on Infinite Earth, right?
Okay. Was it as bad as they said it was?
Actually, they're listening to us, right?
Yeah.
Because the art, for some reason, the art seemed to me is a little bit more refined. I actually liked it better than part 1, right? Okay. But it's real complicated at this point. I mean, because they're bouncing. It's complicated.
Got it.
But one of the main characters in this part 2 was the Monitor, right? And the Monitor is one of those characters where, so. Imagine, we talk about human evolution, 60,000, 100,000, nobody knows.
Right.
Several thousand years old, right? Well, you have this entity that's from the Monitor. He is from a race of beings that are millions of years old. So imagine that, right?
Okay.
So think about our technology that has pretty much advanced over since like the 50s, right? So we go from sharecropping to being on the moon, so they say.
Maybe.
Right? In the last 50, 75 years, or whatever it's been. Think about a race that has been around for millions of years. And the Monitor is one of those beings. He alone is over 250 million years old. His race is, their entire existence was to just watch events. So there are multiverses, and there's so let's go back. So remember Oa, right? The Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
So Oa had this guy, and he was messing around, some scientist, right? Millions of years ago. He actually created the multiverse, right? So out of that came the Monitor. When that happened, when their version of a Big Bang happened, became the Monitor, who is basically the Watcher equivalent on the Marvel side.
Okay.
And then the Anti-Monitor. So obviously, if you got a positive, you got to have a negative. And the Anti-Monitor was born. The Anti-Monitor and the Monitor was born at the same time. Obviously, the Anti-Monitor and the Anti-Multiverse.
Okay.
So these beings were born, and the Monitor's job is to watch the evolution of the Earth in their own universe. So for every version of a universe, there is a Monitor to watch them.
Got it. Dude, I just love how there's Marvel's the Watcher and DC's the Monitor.
Right.
Like, it's not the same. I'm monitoring and he's watching.
Exactly. So you have these levels of beings that have been around. And I'm just going to go down the list and I'll compare them, right? Okay. So you have you got Eternity. That's on the Marvel side. Yeah. So the embodiment of time and universe itself. Then you have the Presence. That's the DC side, right? You have Infinity, represents the concepts of space and is often paired with eternity. But on the DC side, you have the Endless, right? And the Endless is actually a family of entities like dream, death, destiny, desire, despair, things like that.
Okay.
So you have the Living Tribunal. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's the being with like 3 faces.
Yes.
Right? Yep.
That's Marvel, right?
That's Marvel. And then you have the Spectre, which is that equivalent. So basically they call them the embodiment of divine vengeance and justice, like God's right hand kind of a deal, right? You have, and I don't know why they put Galactus with as the opposite of the Anti-Monitor. So Galactus on the Marvel side and Anti-Monitor on the DC side. But But basically, they're consumers of worlds and universes,
Got
right? Then you have the Celestials, right? The hand coming up. They're supposed to be reborn.
Is
and
Galactus
take
a
out.
Celestial or no?
No, he's not.
Okay.
So you have the Celestial on the Marvel side, and then the New Gods, right, on the DC side.
Yeah.
And we talking about like New Genesis, Apocalypse, Dark Side, High Father. Those are the New Gods. Death on the Marvel side, Death of the Endless on the DC side. And Death is often depict on the Marvel side Death as a female. It's weird, right?
Deadpool's in love with her,
right?
In some comics, yeah.
Yep. So, so you got the Phoenix Force on the Marvel side and the White Lantern entity on the DC side. You have Lord Chaos and Master Order on the Marvel side, and Order and Chaos on the DC side. Oblivion on the Marvel side, and Necron on the DC side, the embodiment of death and darkness, often associated with the Black Lantern Corps. So if you notice, a lot of stuff is surrounding Oa and them little crazy blue guys, right? So a lot of stuff ties in. So you have, so here we go, the Watcher, right? The Marvel side, and the Monitor on the DC side. So what's the purpose of all these guys, right? So you have these entities that are just kind of out there. And they play these roles. So some of them watch, some get involved in other kinds of stuff. So what purpose do they serve in the Marvel universe? Well, so there's these mashups. There are these events that happen that affect not only the outcome of those multiverses, but of the DC Marvel characters themselves, right? So you have Crisis on Infinite Earth, right? Which is the equivalent of, I guess, Secret Wars in Marvel, right? You have Final Crisis, which is the equivalent of the Infinity Gauntlet in Marvel. You have the Blackest Night in DC, the equivalent of the Annihilation in Marvel. You have Infinite Crisis in DC, Infinite War in Marvel. You have the Dark Knight Metal, which is the War of Kings in Marvel. So these things happen, and a lot of times this happen to reboot characters, or reboot what they're going to do with the vision and mission of groups and in the comics. But you have these entities that are like God-like, what we consider God, like God. Even God is in, Marvel and DC as other names, but they're there. And it's like you have these. I find it amazing that you have these characters, number one, right? And Earth and all the universes based on this alone, because they like going around like, doing stuff. You should have been wiped out a long time ago, right? Because they're always warring with each other, and they have such power that it's like almost unimaginable. But then it's like in sports, right? You have like the Shaqs and you have like the Jordans and people like that. Oh, they're billionaires. Yeah, but somebody's writing them a check. Right. So you got these entities that are millions of years old. Yeah, but somebody made them, right? So what's above these characters? So for me, it's like when you start looking at characters like that and the power that they possess, that they can harness, that they can give to other characters, things like that. It's like I find it so amazing that we are able as people, as a human, to even think of a character like this and develop it. But then what if, right? Yeah. So you just do these deep dives into these characters that have so much power. It's like we're not even going to talk about power sets, right? Because they're beyond Omega, right? They can do pretty much anything. Yeah. But then you also look at a character like a Franklin Richards that's probably equivalent to some of these guys, right? Yeah. But they're just in a human form. So this week is not just about a character. It's just like about a group of entities. I know a lot of people haven't even heard of some of these characters, right? And the things that they do. But when we start talking about, we have some of our readers or our subscribers talking about, well, if I were going to get into comics, where would I start? Well, definitely don't start on these guys, exactly. Right? But this is just a whole different level of characters that you can get into. that's beyond you know, the Daredevil.
It shows you the depth of comics too. Like that's, I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Because a lot of comics are so grounded, you're not even thinking all these layers up. But that's, dude, layers upon layers upon layers.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then these guys, they can pop between the universes. They can impact different things. Some of them, like for example, like in Infinity, the second part, the Monitor. So he watched Krypton explode.
Yeah.
Right? And Kara was in a pod floating through space. And he told his ship, right? His ship is sentient, right?
Yeah.
And he told his ship to get Kara out of his way because he couldn't properly monitor, right? The explosion and everything that happened as a result.
Yeah.
But so the ship actually brought her in, and you know, he kind of like started teaching her and all this other kind of stuff. But his sole purpose was to just observe. Yeah. And he's been doing that. He's watched countless of billions of worlds and entities just go away.
Wow.
And that's what he does.
Yeah.
Him and the Watcher.
Yes.
On the Marvel side.
Yeah.
They just watch these events happen. You know?
But we saw a little bit of in What If. I know that's not my favorite series.
Right.
But I do like that concept of this is the Watcher watching all throughout the multiverse. So this is happening almost like instead of calling it What If, just have it be the Watcher show, and this is actually happening somewhere,
right.
you know. But we saw some of that character there.
Right. So this week's hidden gem is I just want to kind of expose. So we talking about these the Bruce Waynes that Dawn or Sue. He's got talent, doesn't have any powers. Right. Or the Daredevils. Well, Daredevil does have power, but then we talk about the Spider-Mans and Wolverines. Then we get into the Phoenix and the Galactus. But there's like a whole different level and a layer.
Like where would the Phoenix fall? I mean, because that is a cosmic force, right? But not to this level, obviously.
No, she's mentioned in this as part of this group. So because the Phoenix Force, a lot of people think of Phoenix Force because it's like Jean Grey, right? But the Phoenix Force is this entity that basically is attracted to a power set,
right?
It's like what's that the character in DC, they like take over, like the Blue Beetle is an entity, Moon Knight is an entity, who else is it? Dr. Fate is an entity. They go around looking for hosts so they can take over. It's
almost like a parasite. It kind of bonds to you and feeds off of you.
Right. Pretty much.
Becomes one.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Phoenix with Jean Grey is the reason that the Phoenix keeps coming back to Jean Grey is because it's been said that Jean Grey's power potential can't exceed that of the Phoenix itself.
Yeah.
So the Phoenix Force is attracted to that power level, which is why he keeps coming back.
Because Jean she's Omega without Phoenix.
Correct.
Right? And that just amplifies even, which is why we've said a million times that the X-Men would destroy the Justice League. So we go back on that train a little bit. Now the X-Men are, you know what's funny? In like, dude, whenever the X-Men debut, and if Marvel handles them properly, all these naysayers, Adrian, they're going to come back around. They're going to go, you know what? Mike and Adrian were right. The X-Men would kick the shit out of the Justice League.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Where does the Beyonder fall in this? Is he also a cosmic entity? I know, Secret Wars, we saw it kind of spawned, or the spark for that started with the Beyonder. Is he up there as well?
I don't think he's at that level. I think that, to be honest, I think the Beyonder, the Phoenix Force, there's another one. They're at a level that's kind of, in Franklin Richards, I think all of those characters are kind of like at the same level. Okay. But you're talking about something that has eternal life, unlimited eternal power. Like for example, the Watcher, right? The more universes that exist, the more powerful he is. Okay. The Anti-Monitor is the same thing on the antimatter side, right? The anti-universe side. And once the Monitor and Anti-Monitor, they had a fight between themselves for a million years. And then something knocked them out. They went to sleep for like 9 billion years. But then the Anti-Monitor woke up, which also wakes up the Monitor, right? Okay. So they're like eternal. And they're in the whole thing in Infinity Crisis, the Anti-Monitor is in this anti-wave throughout the positive universe, destroying all the Earths and all the universes, right? Yeah. So the fewer universes there are, the weaker basically the Monitor gets. Wow. So I mean, there's a direct parallel or relationship between those two guys and the universes that they watch, monitor, things like that.
Got it.
So this is a whole different level of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it because I want people to be aware, but definitely don't start out this stuff.
This ain't step one.
Right. These guys will show up, like the Spectre, he'll show up in Justice League, Superman, things like that. You know, we got the Watcher, we got the Monitor. Right. So they'll show up in things, and Galactus, he'll show up when he's hungry, you know, stuff, which first you'll be introduced by a Herald, which typically is around the Fantastic Four, things like that.
Silver Surfer at times.
Surfer. Yeah. So you'll be introduced to these guys, but it's a lot.
I feel like when they're in comics, they're more referred to than shown.
Correct.
You ever feel that way? Like, you may see them in like one or two panels, but it's all about other characters talking about them and building them up and their impact, because you've said this about stuff on screen with some of these characters, they're too powerful to portray on screen. Right. Some of these I think are almost too powerful to portray anywhere, even on paper, you know?
Exactly. So, I mean, you're not going to have Galactus in eternity, the presence, you know, doing cartwheels and shooting webs through New York City. It's not going to happen, right?
Jumping out of an airplane.
Right. They're going to show up at Earth universe-shattering events. Yeah. You know, anything that's on that scale, you'll see mention of them. But outside of that, no, there's no reason for these characters to show up. But I mean, I was just surprised doing the research on this, the number of characters how many that's at that level. And I'm sure if you get into other comic books, you know, like outside of DC Marvel, there's also equivalents, you know, on that, because, you know, the human mind going to create stuff. Right. But this is a lot. Yeah. This is a lot.
Oh, that's crazy. And you know, I try to think back to, are there any instances in live action where we've seen anything like this represented and never done properly? Like, we've seen Galactus before, but it was like a cloud, some bullshit. You know, I think to the Loki series, maybe that's the closest we've seen, with the end where he's now controlling all the, you know, every timeline is now funneling through this tree. I mean, would you say, is there anything you think would be even closer, or is that pretty much?
I don't even think that's close. Like I said, I don't even see why even Galactus being on here. Yeah. Is kind of like pushing it, but I can understand the relationship between like Galactus and the Monitor, anti-Monitor. Okay, I can get that on a scale, but we're talking about beings that are just millions of years old. Yeah, they have these untold power. You notice I didn't talk about power set, because why? Right. You know, what are you gonna say? Yeah. All the power across all the universes, immortality, invisibility, teleportation, telekinesis. They got it all. Right. They got it all.
Yeah. I don't think that they can do any of this on screen. No. Right. Like, you would need, I shouldn't say can't. We've not seen any proof that they can right now. There was a time where we didn't think that they could, you know, bring the Avengers properly on screen because there's too many. Right. So I think they could get, I think it would take someone like the Russo brothers, people that are actually huge fans of this, because they respect the, you know, the origins or whatnot, and they're not going to just take a Galactus and throw him into a cloud and, you know, act like we're going to think that's the same character from the comics. Right, right. It's a shame that Eternals was so bad. Yeah. Because that was the perfect platform for a lot of this. And they did some world building. It's just, if that movie could have, like, been a little bit entertaining and not boring as a motherfucker, maybe I could have. But, I mean, we saw Celestials in there. You mentioned, you know, Tiamat, I think is the name, his arm sticking out, which we're going to see addressed in Falcon America, or Captain Falcon, as you lovely call him. But it's a shame that movie sucked so bad, because they could have started to show at least some of that stuff in there. They try, but it's just no one's paying attention because it's boring. Right. We'll do another great hidden gem, and you threw me for a loop this week. You know, I wasn't expecting that. So, or as we called it, another nice time under Adrian's learning tree. There you go. So,
there you go. No, it'll be interesting to break some of these guys down in future, you know, hidden gems. But, you know, just to have like a class. So we talk about Omega being the ultimate as far as a mutant, you know, category or classification. Right. But as far as a comic book character, I mean, these guys, these cosmic beings, I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
They are as far away from Omega level as a Bruce Wayne would be from a Jean Grey. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's like a human to an ant almost.
Right.
Like, and that's why, like, well, how come they don't go destroying everyone? It's like, dude, these problems of these little superheroes are not even on there. They don't give a shit. It's like the ant building digging a hole in your backyard. Like, whatever, dude, as long as you don't get my house, I don't give a fuck.
Right, exactly. And I mean, just from a technological perspective, I mean, if you ran into an entity, like I said, our technology has really just evolved. Let's just say in the last 100 years, going from the industrial age up to now, right? Imagine a race that's a million years older than we are. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even see us.
Right.
They wouldn't even see us.
No, they'll be experimenting on us. Well, like,
I don't even think they would do that. It's like, what's the point?
Right.
I mean, how many ants do you stop to look at and just I think we would probably be something like a bacteria to them.
Yeah.
Just some unknown. I know you exist, but there's really no reason for us to even engage.
Right. Well, do another great hidden gem. If you guys like that, hit the like button. Check out hidden gems on our past podcasts or on our YouTube channel. Moving on. Third time's a charm is back, Adrian. I think this is the last time we can do this. I went through all the trilogies in perfect timing because Deadpool Wolverine is technically the third Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
We have both kind of predicted that it will be the best of the three Deadpool movies, right?
Yep.
You still feel that way? Nothing you've seen lately that makes you say it won't be as good as the first two?
No, nothing.
All right, so third time's a charm. I got 5 movies that hit the trilogy mark. I'm going to give you the third movie in that trilogy, and you're going to let me know if that third movie is better than the first two.
Okay.
Number 1, Spider-Man 3. This is the Tobey Maguire one.
Visually it was, but overall I would say no.
Yeah. That was the emo Peter Parker, your favorite scene. 2, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
It was better than The Dark Knight?
Wait a minute. Dark Knight Rises. That was with
Bane.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Tom Hardy Bane.
No.
The Matrix Revolutions.
Anything after 1 was shit. So, no.
Well, we're going to know across the board. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. This is when they go to Japan.
No.
And then Return of the Jedi.
Dude, there's just been so many of them.
The old trilogy. The real one. Real Star Wars.
Return of... yeah, I would say
okay. Better than Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. That is third time's a charm. You guys let us know if you agree with those takes. Someone said the other day, like, these are cold takes. Like, dude, our job is not to, like, have the most hot take ever. Like, I think this movie fucking sucks, bro. Like, that we just give you our opinions. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's hot take, maybe it's cold. It's just it's not an act, I guess, is the point.
How many variants of Star Wars? I mean, how many splinters are there now of this Star Wars? It's just ridiculous, dude.
Way too many. So, speaking of Deadpool Wolverine, we talked about X-23 confirmed. We talked about Lady Deadpool. I came across Heinz, okay? The ketchup maker.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's some Deadpool and Wolverine ketchup and mustard bottles coming out?
Come on, man. I mean, how do you even stock that on the shelf? I'm assuming there's like something sticking out of them, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just like a label that they put on them?
No, I think it's like, it looks like there's something wrapped around the top. So you kind of have it looks like a thick rubber band, and the ketchup has the Deadpool mask, or that logo almost, with the 2 swords on the back. The Wolverine has the Wolverine mask. But then on the mustard one, the Wolverine one has hands and claws coming out the side. So I don't know how real that part is.
Is that just a marketing thing? I mean, that can't be practical to ship. Bottles of this shit. So what happens? They the stock boys gotta like take them out and assemble them before he puts it on the shelf. Come on.
But what I thought was cool about this, though, is the level of marketing and just this marketing campaign they did with this movie. I thought it was great. Dude, Deadpool Wolverine's everywhere. It's a rated R movie, and Marvel is a marketing machine when they want to be.
Sure.
Some movies were like if you go back to like the Marvels, like dude, y'all didn't market this shit at all, but it seems like the marketing campaign hit with this one, and because it's every fucking where, dude.
Right.
I even seen what the hell was it? I want to say some Michelob, maybe some beer maker had Deadpool Wolverine in the commercials.
Really?
There's all kinds of shit. They're everywhere. So going back to what I said a few weeks ago, this movie doing 1.5, over $1 billion. I see it easily. Next up, Adrian.
Hey, maybe Marvel's trying to be that third most popular word in the world that people speak, behind what? Yes and Coke or something like that.
Is Coke really number 2?
I don't know, or 1. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we know you're a big Coke fan.
Yep.
The soda.
The soda.
Yeah,
the soda.
I mean, sometimes when we say things, people go, these guys are on drugs, but that's not.
No.
We're not. Nope. Caffeine, maybe. All right. Yeah, not today, obviously.
Not today, obviously.
Duncan. God, dude, I would say we just have to switch to start trying to.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't even say it. No.
No, well, you don't wear leggings and Uggs. Those are people that gotta get my Starbucks. Oh my God.
Besides, I got to show up there 2 hours early and get in that line, dude. What's with that?
Right. Then the order.
The line, Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. I mean, don't even have them on the same block, dude. You would not be able to move.
No. Imagine a rest stop that just had those 2 places.
Oh my God.
All right, we respond, Adrian. This is where we interact with our followers, our subscribers, and there's people actually that respond and comment on every video that don't follow us. They just come here to talk shit. So we can be the outlet for whatever you want.
Hey.
The best thing about you and I is, there's a lot of great things, but one of our best mutant abilities is we really don't give a fuck what you say. Like, I don't know about you. There's not much you can say on there where I'm going to be like, this guy offended me.
Yeah.
I mean, I may say something, back, because that's just, also one of my mutant abilities or weaknesses. I don't know. But we got some good stuff. Some of these are real good conversation starters. So we'll start off with my man Ryan on TikTok. He says, this is a good, healthy, agree to disagree moment. Is it mostly because Heath died that people are saying that Heath was the best, or was he actually amazing? I would say a bit of both out of respect. Now, he was nice about it. There's some other people in the comments like, the only reason Heath Ledger got all that praise is because he died. I think that idea is absolute bullshit.
Right. I agree.
Him dying, that doesn't impact how I view that movie whatsoever.
No.
I didn't know him personally. I mean, I feel it's horrible that way he went out. Feel sorry for his family, but him dying didn't impact me on a personal level. It's not like, your uncle died and you're like, man, he was the best mechanic I've ever seen. I didn't know the dude, bro. So when I say Heath Ledger is the best Joker by leaps and bounds, him dying doesn't play into that at all.
Right. I mean, does Jimi Hendrix dying make him the best guitarist in the world?
No.
Kurt Cobain, taking himself out. No. I don't understand the relationship. I do understand it.
Yeah.
But when you talk about acting or doing something in life, it's either good or it's not, right? And your dying has no effect, doesn't erase what you've done.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's kind of nonsensical, but whatever.
Yeah, and I get why people would try to say that. It's like if they disagree, they can't understand, like, oh, how could he not see it the way I do? And it's only because of this. Like, no, believe it or not, some people like shit that you don't like.
Well, what would have happened if he just died from natural causes? I mean, he still would have been considered the best Joker that it was.
Yep.
It's just because is it a suicide thing or?
Well, it wasn't even suicide. It was an accidental overdose. Was what they ended up.
Accidental overdose.
At the time, it was like because of the movie, people were because he got so into the Joker and that's what. But his family came out and said like this was after that movie was done.
Right.
He was using I guess some painkillers and he mixed it with some sleeping aid. Took too much of one and didn't wake up. In a nutshell. So yeah, no, I had nothing. Because dude, if that was the case, then I'd be like, I'll tell you what, Adrian, The Patriots, the best movie. I'm not going to all of his other movies and saying they're the best movies ever. I'm talking about this performance, this character. So, moving on. God Mode's back, dude. God Mode's in the house. He has a little hypothetical battle for us because he knows these get us in trouble sometimes. So he threw out 3. He said, "Who do you think would win?" The first one is interesting. They're kind of cross. When like you have PlayStation and someone has Xbox and y'all are playing, it's cross console. Okay, these are like cross universes or something.
Okay.
Or cross franchise. There you go. We'll cut that out. Will make me sound smarter. These are cross franchise.
There you go.
Avengers versus the Transformers. Who would win in a battle?
Avengers versus the Transformers?
Mm-hmm.
Avengers?
Yeah, I think like in a landslide, right? Like, I mean, Thor would just zap them all once, fry their little computer or whatever, they're done, dude.
Exactly.
You know? And I mean, Iron Man is essentially a transformer, the suit. But anyways, Justice League versus the G.I. Joe. I think Justice League.
I don't need to switch cameras for that one.
Yeah. Next. And last but not least, X-Men versus Power Rangers. X-Men.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think Xavier could go out there shirt cocking and take care of the Power Rangers.
Right.
He's like, guys, I got this one. He's just out there real quick. And all right, Godmo, you gotta come stronger than that next week. Right. Godmo, come on. Kareem on TikTok says Zack Snyder does not understand the character of Batman in the slightest. The only good to come out of his Batman was the suits. I agree with this. I think, we've talked about this before with the whole killing. And so I think, much as we like to make fun of Zack Snyder at times, but I think the biggest issue with that is the changes he made to a lot of these characters to a comic book fan would make you think he doesn't understand the characters. Maybe he did. Maybe he want to put his own spin on it. But Batman killing. Now, you're a big Superman. You know more about Superman than me. Did you feel that his Superman was true to the character, or was it kind of his own take on Superman?
As long as you stay in the Boy Scout genre, you'll be true to Superman. Yeah. So, I mean, he did a well enough representation. Okay, so Superman was not bad, but his Batman, for me, the whole shooting everyone, Batman trying to kill people, and the Battle Hammer is a frequent commenter. He said, I cried when Wolverine died, and my ex-wife got mad because I didn't even cry when we got married. Laughing my ass off. Is she your ex because you cried? Exactly. I'm like, you know what? Good thing she's your ex, because, there's nothing wrong with a little eye sweat in a comic movie, Who's she to get mad at that? Wow. That's why she's the ex, you see? Wesley John G1, maybe. I probably screwed that name up, but Fantastic Four has also never been done properly. So sad. Absolutely. You agree with that wholeheartedly. We talk about the X-Men. We've talked about that too. I mean, like all the X-Men that have come out. Yeah. The Fantastic Four that have come out, it's been bad. Yeah. They had the 3 movies, right? They had the original 2, where the second one had Silver Surfer in it. Right. And then they had the reboot when Michael B. Jordan played Human Torch and all that. But I mean, they never really felt, and you're a bigger Fantastic Four fan than me, they never felt anything like the comics at all. I think when they came out with the Fantastic Four, that was another one of those fishing expeditions. But, I mean, I think those actors had potential. Yeah. The casting wasn't bad, right? Well, Michael Chiklis, he wasn't a very good Ben Grimm, but the Franklin, the Reed Richards, the Susan, and then, but of course, then, what's his face moved over to Captain America, so he couldn't have played that. Yeah. But I think that group of characters had potential, but then they just, shit all on it later on. Yeah. So no, it definitely has not been done properly. So did you like Chris Evans, Johnny Storm at all? It was a good representation because Johnny is a kid. Yeah. And he played the part. Yeah. So at that time there was nothing to compare him to. Right. Right. So sure. Yeah. But he definitely made a better Captain America. Oh, absolutely, hands down. And that's that two rule, Adrian, 2 comic rule. We got a comment later about that, because this guy, you got to explain to him the rule, because he thinks he has his own rule. But anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I always liked the Fantastic Four cartoon in the 90s. Yes, you remember that one? Yep. I think that was done pretty well. Yeah, we saw Galactus in that. We saw Silver Surfer in there, and I think Silver Surfer got his own comic cartoon around that time as well. It was an animated series. I think they should make all comic anything rated R. Now, label it rated R, but you have the choice of what you put in there. You know what I'm saying? Right. But because I think that's part of the limitation on being able to portray these characters and groups properly. Is this PG whatever? Yeah. They kind of get in the way of themselves by limiting. Put restraints on what you can do. Yeah, I think are you saying go rated R? Not necessarily. We don't have to go sexual rated R, right? But rated R for the violence, the blood. Yeah. You don't have to drop the F-bomb every 30 seconds and things like that. Yeah. But definitely make it you need some cringe points in a comic book movie in order to do it, remotely properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe just allow PG-13 to have more blood or something. You know?
Something. One of them.
Something needs to change.
Right.
Next up, Gagne13 says, don't ever say T'Challa should have been recasted. There will be no other Black Panther, just like there will be no other Wolverine. I will forever say T'Challa should be recasted.
Yeah.
But to his last point, and I wanted to hear your take on this. He said there will be no other Wolverine. I disagree.
Sure.
I think that is perfect. Like, as great of a job as Hugh Jackman has done. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen how many versions of Batman.
Right.
And Batman is the DC character, right?
Yep.
Wolverine, I mean, because of the Fox movies and even in the latest trailer, they refer to him as the X-Men. I think he was presented that way in live action, right? Mm-hmm. So if you could do that with Batman, you could have another Wolverine.
Absolutely. Another Wolverine, another Anthony Starr.
Yeah.
I'm still voting for him.
Yep.
Now, nobody's come on my radar about a T'Challa replacement, but it can be done.
Absolutely.
It definitely can be done.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't. I think that, and I don't think I don't think it does anything to Hugh Jackman's legacy as Wolverine if a new guy, because you still have that. Right. You like that one, kind of like what Jay-Z used to say. You want me to make music like my old music? Go listen to my old music.
Right.
Like, do the same. I want Wolverine to be Wolverine, or Hugh Jackman to be Wolverine. Then go watch Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. There's like fucking 10 movies you can. Matter of fact, it's probably gonna be 2 or 3 more. So, Mighty Mole 970 says this channel deserves to have 1 million subscribers. I could not agree more.
I agree.
And we will. Yep. We will. We're getting, thank you, Mighty Mo, because you're right. We should have 1 million now. But the only thing stopping us is time, Adrian. That's all.
And Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Do you think when we have 1 million subscribers, we could at least get a cup of coffee?
If we got 1 million subscribers, I don't give a shit. I just, I'll stop talking about the fact that they're not supporting us.
Right.
Because then they're going to be paying us. So
Absolutely.
At that point,
yeah, it wouldn't even matter. Jordan Clegg says, love the videos. We got a little bonus hit or miss here. He's got a couple here. John Leguizamo as the Violator in Spawn. You seen the Spawn movie? The old
did.
one? Do you remember John Leguizamo?
Yep.
Violator/clown.
Creepy.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
I say hit.
Yeah.
Hands down. And then his second one is Thomas Hayden. Thomas. I don't know if that's the guy's name. Sandman. Whatever the actor's name is, Sandman from Spider-Man 3.
Hit.
That was a hit.
Yeah.
Dude. I thought he did a great job.
Yep.
Yes, those 2 hits across the board. Dude, I love John Leguizamo as clown / Violator.
Dude, there was some very good creepy work that he did.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's another movie that, maybe I'll say that to agree to disagree, but we need to see that on screen. Yeah. Spawn. Brian Freakin' Okay. Brian Freakin'
Hold on before you go there.
Yeah.
So the guy McFarlane, right?
Yep.
We haven't heard him in any news, right? So I don't think he's going to get that movie made. Like I said, just
he'll do himself.
Open your bank.
Yep.
Open your bank account and just make the movie yourself. Pull a Tyler Perry. Well,
Well, not literally.
Produce your own shit.
Yep.
And then make your own movie, and then you'll be golden.
Right.
Because getting a movie out, I think, is more important than getting this. Because I think he probably thinking, oh, this needs to be an Avenger level kind of thing. No, dude, just
I think it does.
Put your movie out, man, because nobody else obviously is.
Or you know what? Because I think what he said, I forget what rated R movie he was thinking that would help his case. I think it was the Joker one. He's like, the Joker 2.
Yeah.
If Joker 2 does well, then this studio will want to do my way. You know what you should do, Todd McFarlane? You didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you. Take a recipe out of the book of Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Go make some test footage.
Right.
Yourself. And leak it. And then see what studio wants to pick it up.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Why not? Let the internet go crazy, because we will.
Mm-hmm.
We see some badass Spawn like in today's CGI, with the chains and cutting someone's fucking head off or something crazy, and the Violator lap. Like, dude, give us 30 seconds of that. Internet's gonna go crazy.
Just pipe it down on that moving cape, though. That cape was that was a bit much. It was a bit much.
Dude, I haven't seen that movie in a while. I'd love to see how well that CGI has aged. All right, my man Brian freaking Vaughn here. He says, this is when we were talking about Anthony Starr or Carl Urban. I said Carl Urban should play Wolverine. And he goes, I don't want Carl Urban to play another character in the MCU due to the fact that he already played the Executioner, Scourge. Remember he played Scourge in
Yep.
Thor Ragnarok. And I don't think he says I'm not a fan of when an actress plays two characters. He said Marshall Ali shouldn't play Blade because he played Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage series. Goes on and on. Vin Diesel can only play. Oh, he could play more than one because he only did the voice. Can you let Brian freaking Vaughn know the actual rule, Adrian? It's not one.
No.
What's the rule?
The rule is 2.
2. You
Now,
made this rule.
I don't even remember Marshall playing that other character. Cottonmouth. Yeah.
But that's 2. He's good. He's
Whatever. But the rule is 2.
Yeah.
Representing 2 characters, like Chris Evans, he did Johnny Storm and Human Torch. He's done Captain America. Go away.
Yep. He's at his limit.
So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Now I have a question because hearing his reading this comment, we'll cut that out too. We don't want to sound professional here.
Just leave it in.
Yeah. Surprise! Hey, spoiler alert, Adrian. I never cut anything out. But reading his question here, I was pondering to myself, and I figured I'd ask you here live on the show.
Okay.
Why is it 2?
Because you start diluting. All right, so like a Hugh Jackman, right?
Yep.
When you look at his character, whether it's strong or not, or even what's his face playing Green Lantern. Now he's playing Ryan Reynolds. Now he's playing Deadpool.
Yep.
You start appearing in all of these things, you kind of dilute the characters you start getting into.
Gotcha.
That's why I say there's a 2 character limit. Now you can play as many as you want to.
Yeah.
But at some point it was just like, dude, I don't even want to go to see the movie now because Chris Evans is now on his 5th character.
Right.
Or Nicolas Cage is showing up as any comic book character. So
you can handle up to 2 and not feel diluted. That's
Correct.
Okay. Well, there you have it, Brian. And you know why it's the rule? Because we make the rules around here.
That's right.
And they better start following this rule.
Yeah.
But I thought to wrap up, we respond. I figured we'd do a little something called 2 for 2. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 actors or actresses that are at their 2 character limit.
Okay.
But I want you to tell me if you think they went 2 for 2, if they nailed both of them. Okay. There, in spoiler alert, I think there's not many that have nailed 2. Because a lot of times they try one that's bad. Like Ryan Reynolds, you're a Green Lantern. That was an atrocity.
Yep.
And then you redeemed yourself with Deadpool.
Right.
It shows you that.
But you're done.
You're done, yeah.
I thought you was going to say, should they have a 3rd? And the answer would be no across all of them.
Nope. So it's 2 for 2. You let me know if these actors and actresses have nailed both roles, okay? Mm-hmm. Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman in Batman Returns, and Janet Van Dyne in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Nailed it is a strong word. I think she did great as Catwoman, but Janet Van Dyne in Ant-Man, I'd never seen that character before, the older version.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say, I would say, she did because it's a character I'd never seen before. So yeah, you nailed something I've never seen before.
All right, so she didn't bomb at it.
No.
Okay, so Michelle Pfeiffer's 2 for 2.
Yeah, okay.
J.K. Simmons, he's played J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man series, and then he was Commissioner Gordon in one of our most beloved films ever, Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah, you liked his Jim Gordon?
Yeah.
I thought he did good. It was a little quirky. It felt a little comic-y, but visually it was great.
Yeah, he's a kind of robust kind of a guy, authoritative, things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing about, and no, I'm not saying that the Snyderverse. I'm not saying restore the Snyderverse. Restore the Snyderverse. I'm not saying that. But the one thing we missed out with it being canceled was we never got to see that Ben Affleck Batman in his own movie that got the scenes in Gotham in that movie were pretty cool, and some of the casting was really good, like J. Right. Or J. Jonah, J.K. Simmons. So you'd say hit. So he's 2 for 2. So far we're 2 for 2.
Yep.
Michelle and J.K. All right. Tom Hardy, Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, and Venom in Venom. Is he 2 for 2?
He's not 1 for 1.
He's 0 for 2.
No.
Yeah, I don't. His Bane is. The voice was okay, but I don't know, man.
First of all, I don't remember seeing his face, so it could have been anybody.
Yeah.
And his presence, it just didn't look Bane to me. You know what I'm saying? And then I just don't like him in. Actually, I don't like him in anything. Really. I don't think I've seen
Inception.
I don't think I've seen anything that he's portrayed that I was like, he's good at that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would agree. His Bane, and this just goes back to weird casting decisions. Like, to your point, he's in a mask, so you could look like anything.
Right. It's like what they did with Apocalypse.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
No.
So you had Bane, you had Tom Hardy, who is smaller than Christian Bale.
Right.
And in the comics, Bane is maybe 3 times the size of Batman.
Right.
So why wouldn't we find someone that was bigger than Christian Bale?
Right. It could have been anybody.
Right.
I mean, any wrestler, blah, 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 blah. I mean, because Bane's bigger than Batman without the serum.
Right.
You know,
before the Venom.
And then you do the Venom thing,
Yep.
and he gets pumped up 2-3 times his size. So,
Correct.
yeah, no.
Yep. So So Tom Hardy's 0 for 2, bro. Damn. Idris Elba, Heimdall in the MCU, and Bloodsport in The Suicide Squad.
No. And no.
Oh, you didn't like his Heimdall either? Okay.
Nah.
I would say 1 for 2. And then last but not least, Halle Berry, Storm, and Catwoman.
No.
0 for 2. So we got 1, 2, 3 that are 0 for 2, and 2 that are 2 for 2 for you, Adrian.
Yep.
So you weren't split on any of them. I'd be split on Idris Elba. I like this Heimdall. But Bloodsport, I just couldn't stand that movie. There you have it. You guys sound off. Hit the like button if you like those choices, or if you don't, hit the like button too. Why not? You know. So moving on, Adrian, we have a little bit of a agree to disagree here. Okay, I got 6 this week. This is where I'm going to rapid fire these 6 opinions of mine at you. And you're going to let me know if you agree or not.
All right.
And then maybe on the ones you don't, we'll dig into them a little bit. Okay. So are you ready?
Ready.
Number 1. Marvel should have kept Daphne Keene's return as Laura / X-23 a secret.
Agree.
Edward Norton's Hulk had a better look than Mark Ruffalo's.
Agree.
The Marvels was better than the Eternals.
Agree.
The best Transformers movie was the first one.
Agree.
Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie of all time. We already kind of heard your disagree. You said return, so.
No.
It's okay to have some eye sweat watching comic book movies.
Agree.
There you go. Well, that's our agree to disagree this week. So you sound off. Let us know if you agree or not. There are a couple I'll kind of want to dig into before we wrap up. So Edward Norton's Hulk versus Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. You've said this before. So and you know, I kind of did a little digging. I think most of the internets agree with you and I on this. What was it about Edward Norton's, like, and I was looking at 2 of the pictures earlier. For me, it was Edward Norton's Hulk looked bigger, right? And I like the face more. I think they tried to make the newer one look too much like Mark Ruffalo. Like, I understand it's him, but it was too much.
The Hulk is a transformation.
Yeah.
Not you transform everything but the face. It's like, it made no sense to me.
Right.
The savagery of the Edward Norton Hulk, the size of the Edward Norton Hulk, the actions of the Edward Norton Hulk. It was a completely, and also Mark Ruffalo as the actor is a bigger guy.
Yeah, true.
Bruce Banner's a scrawny, I mean, like a Spider-Man-ish kind of a character.
Peter Parker size, yeah.
So, and the whole point is to go from this scrawny guy to this massive Hulk. And what they do is they go from this medium-sized guy. Mark Ruffalo isn't a large guy,
right,
but he's a medium-sized guy, and to transform into this docile Hulk that looks like him in the face. And it just doesn't do it. I still don't like it to this day.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
And then he went smart.
Dude,
They could have just kept that out altogether.
I mean, the smart Hulk has got to be one of the worst things they've done with these characters that they've built for so long, you know?
Well, I think the reason they did that is because they kept the Mark Ruffalo face in the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be something other than, a savage. No, the Hulk is a savage, dude.
Right. Yeah, that is one thing about seeing the Red Hulk in this trailer for Captain Falcon that I'm looking forward to. Is it's not a smart Red Hulk.
Right.
It just looks like a regular Hulk. Like, we've missed out on Hulk rage for a long time in MCU. Like, that's for me, it's one of my favorite aspects of the Hulk is the unpredictability. Like, he's gonna go fuck shit up.
Right.
And we've seen some amazing action scenes when he was the angry Hulk.
Yep. Like, this city is going to fall,
right,
because the Hulk is angry now.
Yep.
Or this mountain, or this whatever it is. I mean, there's going to be some destruction. So, but yeah, no, I don't. No.
Like, that movie, The Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton one. Mm-hmm. Seen this movie a handful of times, right?
Yep.
It gets a bad rap in the MCU. I understand it's not as good as Iron Man and some of these other movies, but for me, it's a fun movie.
Right.
Like, I did enjoy this movie. How about you?
I did. Even the CGI appearance of the Hulk in this movie, I think is better than the Ruffalo.
Yeah.
It's just something about it. The refinement of it, the proportions.
Yep.
It was just a lot about it, even though you could tell it wasn't a real person. But
Right.
I mean, the Hulk isn't a real person.
Correct.
So you gotta embody or capture that transformation, and they didn't do it at all with the Ruffalo.
No. One of my favorite scenes, I have two that really stand out from that Hulk movie. When they're at the college campus and Thunderbolt Ross is showing up with the whole army, and Banner's trying not to turn into a Hulk, and he's in that little hallway breezeway. Yep. They throw the bombs in there, and you see the hand go up against the glass, and he turns to the Hulk.
Yep.
And he runs out into that field, and my man fucks shit up, dude.
Yeah, I love that. I like it when he was going through that Sonic cannon.
Yes.
He was walking through that Sonic cannon.
Yep.
That was a cool scene.
He broke it. What, he grabbed a police car or something and threw it at, like, dude, and then the thunder claps. I mean, we got to see Hulk in that movie.
Yep.
And I don't think we have a little bit in the first Avengers movie.
Right.
Like that we've seen when they're fighting in New York City. But I feel like they kind of nerfed Hulk a little bit there. And then the only other time where we've really seen full-blown Hulk, I think there's two of them. One is Age of Ultron, when they're in, I think they're in Sokovia maybe, and Wanda puts a kind of mind spell on the Hulk, and he goes ape shit, and then Tony calls down the Hulkbuster, and we see Hulk versus Hulkbuster. That was a cool fight.
Yeah.
And then the Thor Ragnarok, Hulk versus Thor in the arena, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of those match the level of rage that Hulk had in the first movie.
Yeah, I agree.
The other scene in that movie is the end scene when he fights Abomination. Abomination was done really well too.
Yeah.
In there. And when they fight through New York, dude, that's a cool ass fight.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they get to a point where even the Hulk, and again, I think it's also timing. They get to a point where they just cannot. In their mind, there's a limit on characters, so they limit them in the movies, even though they're not limited in the comics, right?
Right.
So it's like, well, let's limit the Hulk. Oh, but why?
Right.
But why? This dude, he gets stronger the madder he gets. Let him get mad and, wreck some shit.
That too. We've never really seen that because that is an aspect of the Hulk, right? The angrier he gets, the stronger he becomes.
Right.
We've not seen that in film.
Even with the Banner, well, we saw it a little bit with the Banner Hulk, where
Norton?
No, not Norton. Eric Banner.
Oh, okay.
When they sent the guy sent the dogs after him, and he was biting them, and the Hulk kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
So we saw a little bit of it. I even like that Hulk over any Hulk over.
That Hulk was massive.
Even the Lou Ferrigno Hulk over this latest one. I just don't get it, dude.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I remember watching the Lou Ferrigno Hulk as a kid and absolutely loving that show.
Oh yeah.
Even though you obviously knew it's two different actors, but they did a good job of like showing him rip through the clothes.
Right.
And then Ferrigno pops out and he was massive.
Right. But that's the whole point. It should have been two different actors, right? Right.
Correct.
Just like Ryan Reynolds, I'm sure he's suiting up in Deadpool, but he's inside of a costume.
Right.
But Ryan Reynolds isn't flipping over cars and doing all this other kind of stuff.
No, you don't think he's doing his own stunts?
Nah. No, but those are two completely separate entities. Bruce Banner and the Hulk, they're separate. One grows into the other one, but they should be two different characters, right? So that the Lou Ferrigno thing, it was like and then they brought in Thor with the it was a mess.
That was a little much with the fur and all that shit. So speaking of Hulk, in Deadpool Wolverine, one of the rumors that we've seen a lot lately is there's going to be a Hulk Wolverine fight, which now this has, if that's true, again, it's rumor, not been confirmed. They've not shown this, and thank God they didn't show that in the trailer.
In the Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine.
Okay.
And a lot of people think they're kind of throwing us a little curveball with the Sabretooth Wolverine fight. people that rumor is that that's going to be a quick fight, and then the Hulk Wolverine fight's going to be the real fight. So, I mean, Wolverine debuted in the Incredible Hulk comic series where he fought. He had a little weird kind of face. The mask a little different, but he debuted there. Then the character became so popular they kind of like added an origin to him. Now, if that does happen, the big question is which Hulk would he be fighting? Because we just mentioned a handful of different variants, right? He could, because he's fighting Hulk. You don't need the actor to come back. Because Edward Norton's like banned from Marvel. But we've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah,
he could come back, but like I hope it's not the Mark Ruffalo. I hope it's not Smart Hulk. Smart Hulk. Like if it's that, dude, I may throw my fucking popcorn bucket at the screen.
I mean, what he's gonna do? Like try to talk him out of a fight or something? All right, come on, dude.
He's gonna have a math competition with him.
right.
But it could be the Edward Norton version, or it could be the angry Mark Ruffalo version, early one. I hope it's the Edward Norton one.
What happened with Edward Norton? Why is he banned from Marvel?
So he didn't understand that the Incredible Hulk movie was part of this big MCU universe, and he wanted to make a lot of like script changes, and like he wanted to be his own thing. He wanted to have a lot more influence in the character, and Marvel's like, dude, just shut the fuck up and play Bruce Banner.
Right.
And they would say he was difficult on set. He was a prima donna actor, So he was difficult to work with, as they say.
Have you seen him lately?
No.
Like in the last 10 years?
No.
Acting?
He's over there. He's just watching Fight Club on repeat or something.
No, I guess.
But I mean, of all these Hulks, like for me, the Edward Norton one would be the one I'd want to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine fight. How about you?
I'm good with either Edward Norton or Eric Bana.
Okay.
But I'd rather see more true to the character the Edward Norton one.
Yeah.
Because he's more of the Bruce Banner character.
Yep.
And then the transformation is just, severe. You know what I'm saying?
And in a rated R setting, that Wolverine, Hugh Jackman versus that Hulk, that's a badass fight, dude.
Yeah.
That could rival the Thor Hulk fight from Ragnarok if done right,
Correct.
And I think that's where they would, because they didn't have rated R in Thor, so they could lean into that here. We were talking a few weeks back about, I think I asked you, does Wolverine have the regeneration power? And I wasn't sure. You weren't sure. Someone on YouTube, I can't find the comment, but he said that in a Hulk versus Wolverine battle in the comics, Wolverine did have some limbs removed and he did regenerate. So he does have that power in some of the comics. So I don't know if we'll see any of that in this movie. I kind of don't want to see Hugh Jackman with the small hand, the Deadpool.
That'd be something.
Yeah. But I figured it hit me. So to answer our question, because we're not experts. You're not an expert, right?
No.
We're only fans.
No.
Well, not really. We're
not
just
that,
fans.
but.
We're just fans. But yeah, so I'd love to see a Wolverine Hulk. Last thing, speaking of Hulk, Red Hulk, and I think we could dig into this a little more next week. But Red Hulk's going to show up in this Falcon America movie, right? Or Captain Falcon. I keep screwing up his name. Sorry, Sam. I mentioned last week on Agree to Disagree that Sam Wilson should take the super soldier serum, right? Without the super soldier serum, with his little wings and his shield, in my opinion, he don't stand a chance against Red Hulk.
Nope.
Now I know the writers can do whatever they want, right? But like, it's not going to be believable for me if Sam Wilson's smacking the shit out of Red Hulk, and he's just a regular guy with a shield and some wings. Right. I feel like he has to compete. Do you?
Yeah. Even Steve Rogers, even the Captain America, right, would have issue with going hand to hand with the Hulk, right? Because a lot of people think that the Hulk is just big and bulky. He's fast too,
right?
So you need that. So one of Captain America's powers, as a result of super soldier serum, is basically unlimited stamina. I mean, you can go on.
Yeah, I can do this all day.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, Sam Wilson doesn't have that.
Right.
So even at his athletic level capability and his combat experience, he's going to get tired at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And one slip up and he is done. He is done. So the only thing I can think of is they're going to have some kind of suit enhancement, right? Probably, they got something from Iron Man's AI that enabled him, like Tony, built Peter Parker's Spider-Man suit. They probably have some kind of AI nanite kind of enhancements in the suit to allow him to do better. Mm-hmm. But even just him in the scene where in the commercial where he's flying through jets.
Yeah.
Literally slicing through jets and stuff. The math don't add up.
No.
I mean, and then you got this whole windbreak on your back, the shield. I mean, how fast can you move when you're constantly...
It's aerodynamic.
Okay. Sure. So it'll be interesting to see how they portray him in the different scenarios and, so on and so forth. But it also looks like he's going to be going up against that Blade lookalike, right?
Yeah, yep.
So a lot. So that'll kind of like limit his exposure to where he doesn't have to have maybe the super soldier serum power level.
Right.
But if they put him up against the Hulk, it's going to be over.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yep. Now, the other, you mentioned, if they did something to the suit, the rumor that the Celestial, Tiamat, the arm that's sticking out of the earth for the past 5 years, there's supposed to be adamantium based around that, right? So I guess essentially Sam Wilson could have some adamantium on these wings and suit now. Would that give him a slight advantage over Wolverine, over Hulk, the unbreakable metal?
No, because his face is exposed, right?
True.
All the thing Hulk got to do is fuck him in the mouth with a finger. He's done. Just basically smash his face in. That also doesn't give him endurance.
Right.
He's still going to run out of breath at some point.
Yeah.
And then, the Hulk can just grab him like he did Thor and just bounce him around a couple of times and, jellify his internals.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things that he can do outside of that. So it'll be interesting to see, but no. And armor will not protect you from an assault such as the Hulk. Because there's too many things. Like I said, just thumb his face in, smash him around when he does catch him. He's going to run out of breath.
Right.
No.
And the Red Hulk, I don't know a whole lot. I think, I'll do more of a deep dive before next week's show. We can discuss Red Hulk a little bit. But he's more of a savage than regular Hulk from what I know. Yes. More powerful, angrier,
as well. Yeah.
Right? And that whole anger makes him stronger. I think that is kind of even on another level with the Red Hulk.
So he would be like the equivalent. He would be the Sabretooth of the Hulks.
Yes.
Always in berserker mode, from what I understand, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, I think they just, bite the bullet, write it into the story, figure out a way where Sam Wilson needs to take the serum. Maybe he's going to die if he don't take it. You know what I mean? Something. So that's why I like the boys. My man Butcher, he's like, give me that V, bro. Just shoot this shit up. I'm gonna fucking fight Homelander. Let's go.
I'd be dead next week, but whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, give me another one. His ears got black blood coming out of his ear and shit, or his brains leaking out. Which I'm not. So update on that. The boys. I rewatched the first 3 seasons, and I am starting episode 1 of season 4 right now. Have you seen any of season 4 yet?
I have not, no.
Okay, cool. So we'll maybe get through that over the next few weeks, and maybe we'll have a special boys edition here.
What I think I'll probably on this week, a lot of traveling coming up, I'll probably download, the first 3 seasons. There's a lot of flight time, so I'll probably watch some, I don't know, but it depends on who's sitting next to me though, right?
yeah, that's that's one that might be a little comfortable to watch in public at time. Like, turn your head, don't watch this.
Got the little kid from behind you, right? Peeking through the spaces between the seats.
Dude, I know if it was me as a kid, I'd want to sit next to you. Like, yo, Mom, can I go sit over there? Because that looks pretty fun. That's a lot better than this movie we're watching here. Right. So anyway, well, dude, that was Agree to Disagree. We'll dig more into Red Hulk versus Captain Falcon next week. I will say this. When this movie comes out, if it's a good movie and I like it, I will stop calling him Captain Falcon. We'll see.
And I will not. Because it's nonsense, dude. It's just nonsense. Like even if Sam holds up, without the super soldier serum, even if Sam holds up the shield, right, which is adamantium, vibranium.
Yep.
Even if he holds up the shield and the Hulk hits it, it's going to absorb some of the impact, but there's still a lot of force on his human body.
Yes.
He literally can just get crushed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He needs a serum. Just make him take it. Yep. No one cares. You don't want to see him take drugs. Who gives a shit? Take it. Do it. So next week we're gonna have hopefully a nice Wolverine popcorn bucket here, Adrian. Hopefully that's gonna be here. I will fight someone in line for that shit. I might wear my claws to I had claw when I cosplayed, and I'm like, I can't find them. Where if I can find them before next week, I'll be sitting here with the claws, the popcorn bucket. But our patenting, our deep dive will be back next week. We're gonna deep dive into Deadpool and Wolverine. We're gonna touch on some Red Hulk versus Sam Wilson and do a little deeper dive into their power sets and really analyze this fight where Sam Wilson's going to get squashed like a fly.
Right.
So anyways, if you've not already, hit subscribe button. Go to onlycomicsmerch.com so you can get an amazing hat like this, great shirt like Adrian's wearing right there. Support the show, like, subscribe, share this. Like my man said, we should have 1 million followers. We should. We clipped 40,000 on TikTok this past week. So TikTok, thank y'all for we're close to 2,000 on YouTube now. So it's growing.
Right.
It's getting there, guys. We appreciate all, and I really do. I say this every week. I appreciate the comments, the good, the bad, the stupid, the not so dumb, the really dumb, all in between. The angry ones, the fun ones. It's all for fun. At the end of the day, we get together once a week, Adrian, to just have some fun.
That's it. You know what'll get us closer to that 1 million mark?
What's that?
Dunkin' Donuts supports us. I'm just saying.
Do your part. You know what? You guys tag Dunkin'. Let them know.
Exactly.
Also, Kevin Feige. I'm still pissed about this.
What?
There's been 40 minutes of Deadpool Wolverine seen by other podcasters and wannabe critics and internet people, and we weren't there. I'm still upset about that. It is a travesty. It's about as bad as the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. Ooh. It's right up there from a travesty rating scale, if you will.
There you go.
If you will. So anyways, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Always.
Guys, thanks for joining. I'm looking over there. I see we're not professionals, dude. We'll get it figured out at some point.
Someday.
Yeah, but thanks for joining us. Thanks for checking us out. Hit the subscribe button, and you know where to find us on Spotify, on YouTube, on TikTok, and we'll see you next week right here on Only Comics.
Peace.